Do you know what this move taught investors? Never count SoFi stock out of the game. This is a force to be reckoned with, and all of our due diligence points to this, but unfortunately, it is only reflected 4 times a year. But when you are right big. SoFi stock is up 18% here in after hours, and we are likely to see a big continuation as well over that resistance level at about $14 per share. But we will get into that much more, as well as I do want to go over the exact earnings, the upbeat guidance that SoFi did report to us, as well as the State of the Union address that is coming out from Joe Biden, young Biden, at 9 p.m. tonight, how that could impact our markets. But most importantly, Fed Jerome Powell does speak tomorrow, and there is one specific data point that will also move the markets. All of this could be to the bullish side, but it also could be to the bearish side. So it is very important that you guys stay up to date with all of this information. If you want this provided to you in a 10 to 20 minute long video every night, one time a night, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell as well, because the sooner you get this information, the more money that you are likely to make. Let's get into this. So SoFi was up 18% here in after hours. If we basically go over what happened on earnings, it says SoFi stock climbs 15% after full year 2022 guidance tops consensus. SoFi Technology stock jumped 15% in after hours trading after the company said it expects full year 2022 adjusted net revenue to increase 55% to 1.57 billion versus 1.45 billion visible alpha consensus. The fintech expects adjusted EBITDA of 180 million for the year versus consensus of 157.1 million. So that is a huge guide to the upside. You're talking about potentially, what is that, $120 million additional revenue. That's big. That's really, really big for a company that is the size of SoFi. Justifiably amounts to an 18% move to the upside. SoFi expects Q1 adjusted net revenue of 280 million to 285 million versus 303.6 million consensus. The Q1 guidance incorporates a $30 to $35 million negative impact to revenue from the expansion of the federal student loan repayment moratorium to May 1st, 2022. For adjusted EBITDA, it expects 0 to 5 million versus visible alpha consensus of 19.4 million. So investors, they know that this is due to external factors, and that is something I have talked about as well, is that SoFi, they don't have their largest segment of their business, which is student loan refinancing. What really made them pop off, really made them grow as a business, that has been kind of on the back burner recently over the past 2 years, because you have not had to pay your student loan payments back. So who refinances when you don't have to pay? It's only once those payments start to really hurt you, and that's when you start to refinance. So that's something to expect later on throughout the rest of the year. But it says Q4 adjusted revenue of 279.9 million versus 279.5 million consensus, and 272.0 million in Q3 and 182.0 million in Q4 2020. In Q4, SoFi added 523,000 new members, bringing total members to 3.5 million at year end versus 2.9 million in Q3. That's what is also really setting SoFi up for great success, is the amount of members that they currently have. To add 500,000 members like that is a big deal. And keep in mind that SoFi, that's what they do, is cross-sale members. So you get a car loan through SoFi, you get a house loan through SoFi, you start investing through SoFi, you trade crypto through SoFi. So that is why investors are so focused on that number, and I think that is really good. And obviously 3.5 million members, that could grow exponentially, and that will grow the share price as well. Q4 adjusted EBITDA was 4.59 million, so actually a positive EBITDA, which is a very good thing. If you guys don't know what EBITDA stands for, it stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So basically a measurement of cash flow. And it says total products increased to 5.2 million versus 4.3 million at Q3 and added 906,000 new products, 51% higher than the 600K added in Q3. The lending segment adjusted revenue of 208 million versus 215.5 million in Q3. Also, not as good, but considering everything going on, investors still taking it bullishly. Financial services segment, total net revenue of 22 million versus 12.6 million in Q3. That is very, very bullish as well. That's really your trading segment, things like that. And that's going to be a big driver of growth for SoFi heading into the future as well. It says technology platform total accounts increased to 99.7 million at December 31st, 2021 from 88.8 million at September 30th. Total net revenue of 53.3 million versus 50.2 million in Q3. So all of these numbers, virtually all of them, were good. Some of them not quite as much if you account for obviously what it set up here. Basically that $30 to $35 million cost that they incurred by the federal government delaying student loans. If you add all of this together, the focus points that investors really cared about hit home. Good guidance, user growth, as well as branching out their products and services to basically cross-sell a lot more. And that was that 500 and where was that at? 523,000 new members. So good things coming for SoFi. Very excited to bring you guys this information. And if you guys had trades on this, congratulations. I'm sure they are going to hit well. I didn't have any trades on this. I only had stock, but now I'm only down 16%. Isn't that crazy what buying and holding a stock, what that will do for you? Now, let's get into the other information that you guys need to know. And the State of the Union address for young President Joe Biden is at 9 p.m. tonight. So we're going to have to wait and see what comes out from that. If he goes super hawkish on targeting oil or, something that will materially affect inflation as well as our economy, the market's not going to like that, probably going to sell off tomorrow. I don't think SoFi would sell off tomorrow, but you probably see the same thing as Square, where it kind of just held the aftermarket gains it had after earnings. Square had like a 26% jump in earnings and closed about 20% higher the following day. So that's what I would expect on the bear case. On the better case, on the bull case, I would expect the stock to open up around 18% and continue to climb to about 25% throughout the day tomorrow. But it does depend on what young Biden says tonight at 9 p.m. as well as the economic data that is coming out. So we do have let's take a look at this. We do have FOMC member Bullard that speaks at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. That is ranked number 2 stars out of 3, a moderate volatility expected. So that's going to be a big one. 9:30 a.m., 9:15 or 8:15 a.m. The ADP non-farm employment change, that's a high volatility expected event, as well as 10 p.m. Fed Chair Powell testifies, and that's going to be another high volatility event. And I think that's going to be the most important one out of all of this. What does Fed Jerome Powell have to say? Are they going to switch something up? Because keep in mind, back in November, we basically got that first insight into what the Fed was going to do as far as tapering faster at that November testimony from Jerome Powell, and he did that on purpose to communicate with the markets that things were changing and the Fed needed to take a more aggressive stance, but he didn't want to shock the markets coming out on the FOMC meeting that is going to be on March 16th, but I believe then it was going to be like November 20 something. So we're going to be watching that. Markets are going to be watching that to see if you get that bullish or bearish tint coming off of Fed Jerome Powell. And those are going to be the most important things. On top of that, depending what Powell does tomorrow, you can see that we no longer even have a probability of seeing a 0.5% rate hike. The 0.25% rate hike is currently at 98.8%, whereas a no rate hike, just a nothing, keeping rates at 0, is at 1.2% probability. So it looks likely we'll get that 0.25%. It does not look likely we will get that 0.5% rate hike. And that is a big shift from what we have seen over the past couple of weeks. And that should be a very bullish thing. And as we can see, let's go ahead and pull up pre-market or futures, and we can see futures are up on the Nasdaq about 0.26% and the Dow up about 0.34%. So definitely looking good right there. Oil going up yet again, but that is much expected. So we are going to have to see exactly what comes from young Biden as well as what does come from Fed Jerome Powell tomorrow. But all in all, it is looking very, very bullish. If we do take a look at the key levels, as you guys do know, and this is no secret, that you have to see that move above $13 per share. That is the 50-day moving average, which we are currently at $13.23 per share. So we are above this level. We are above the 20-day simple moving average, but we are under that $14 resistance level. If we can break above $14, that's where the situation starts to get incredibly bullish, and you're going to see the MACD going incredibly bullish as well, and that should inherently cause a lot of shorts to cover and a lot of FOMO buying to start kicking in. On that note, the short interest, and this is why I like to call this out in every single video to keep you guys up to date with this short interest information, because when you see an 18% move in after hours, that's likely to be followed up by more shorts covering, and you're looking at 17.51% short interest of free float, 112.03 million shares that are sold short. Cost of borrow max of 2.32%, and the utilization is 100%. Days to cover is at 2.97, so also looking good in that respect as well. It's very hard for shorts to get out of their short positions, and I do expect somewhat of a short squeeze. It's not going to be as explosive as something else would be, but it is going to be explosive nonetheless. And I think there could actually be a really good trade here, as when you do see stocks in this day and age, in this marketplace, give good numbers, then you do tend to see a continuation effect after earnings. So you necessarily don't even have to gamble on earnings using options. You can wait till after and play the downside or the upside, no matter which way it goes. And for the day, you actually did see 19 orders totaling $56.65 million. That is an insane amount. Over the past week, $73 million worth of option trades were placed on SoFi stock. So today, you got like 80% of the total option activity you typically see in a 1 week period, all in one day. The positive order value was 53%. So it is looking very bullish in that respect, and that probably did contribute to this 18% move that we did see in after hours, but I think more is still yet to come. As far as my actual position, my market value is currently $5,610. I'm down $1,080 or 16.15%. I was down about 30% before this rally, so definitely was feeling a lot of pain like a lot of people. But nevertheless, if you sit on your stock and you buy and hold, there is a lot of power in doing that, when eventually you will be positive again and you will make a lot of money. Now, my average cost is $15.74 per share. I have 425 shares on this portfolio. I do have about 200 more shares on another portfolio as well, but my portfolio diversity is 12.72%. I don't have any options. I did sell out the other options at a profit, but nevertheless, I have a very large share position. I know a lot of you guys have more shares than me, so big congratulations to everybody that is involved with SoFi stock. That is going to be all for this video. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with this information. Get yourself some free stocks. Link down below in the description for Webull, Moomoo, and Public. No risk by doing that. No risk at all. Sign up, get yourself free stock, and that is that. I got Starbucks, I got Snapchat using Webull as well as Moomoo. They give out great stocks. Public is a little more iffy, but as far as the dollar amount of stocks you get to choose your stock on Public though. So that is a good thing. You can choose to get Tesla, and you don't have to deposit a single dollar to get that free stock. So different ballparks there, still free money, and I want to give you guys that to take advantage of it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.